Good day, I'm Jennifer Johnson, presenting Mod 7 assignment, Dr. Eric Aspen University, doctoral program, Cultural Perspectives in Psychology. In this review, we'll take a look at what's personality and how do we define the traits. What does a five-factor model say about personality and personality traits? What's the difference between internal and external locus of control? And how does culture and personality impact and influence and intertwine? This depiction certainly gives us an example of the kinds of personality experiences that we may see in everyday existence. Personality is defined as differences in our patterns of thinking and feeling and behaving. Personality traits considered driver, expressive, amiable, analytical. Those personality traits are those factors impacting an individual's thinking and feelings and behavior. These traits typically are characteristic of consistency and stability. When we think about personality and traits, we think about openness to feelings, competence, straightforwardness, positive emotions, and even low anxiety. Personality traits are clearly consistent throughout one's adult life. Five-factor model says that there are 5 hierarchical organizational traits that we can consider when we look at personalities. Extroversion, those that love interacting and interfacing and being around others. Agreeableness, those that are consistently striving to be in agreement with the environment that they're in. Openness, that factor describes one that is willing to share whatever is going on in their worlds honestly and openly. Conscientiousness, that factor describes one that is consistently working hard to get things right, to do things in a way that is consistently equated to success. And then neuroticism, an inflated personality belief in self, maybe a little too consistently believing that they have a belief in themselves that puts them far above others. Locus of control, psychological concept, influences impact outcomes. Internal and external locus of control are concepts, ways of thinking. That kind of control is different in the sense that an internal locus of control is an individual's belief that they're responsible for everything they do, for their accomplishments, for their successes, for their challenges. Internal locus of control believes that their hard work, their focus, and their efforts are explanations for what goes on in their world. Compared to an external locus of control, defined as one's belief that external forces impact everything that they do. Other individuals, religion, fate, luck, all contribute to determining their efforts and their consequences. Unlike internal, where the internal locus of control, the individual believes that they are totally controlled. The external locus of control believes that there are forces outside of them that make a difference in their efforts and their consequences. An internal locus of control will describe that an individual's efforts are the reasons for their outcomes. An external locus of control suggests that there are factors out of their control that impact their world. So how does personality and cultural differences impact each other? Well, the strength of personality traits varies across cultures. Individualist cultures and collectivist cultures place emphasis on different basic values. Important to understand that in individualist cultures, which is what the American culture believes, independence, competition, personal achievement are the most important. When we look at leadership, we look at management, we look at success. An individualist culture, like what the American culture believes, is that that kind of competition and that personal achievement are absolutely essential to success. When we look at personality and cultural differences, there's a balance. Science helps to shape cultures. Culture then influences the development of our personalities. There are universal and culture-specific aspects and personality. I'll use it as an example. Colorado has a culture of the Wild Wild West. Louisiana has a culture of celebrations. Los Angeles and California have a culture of fame and fortune and superstars. Understanding that the culture and personality influence each other, but the world and the environment we live in also can impact the personality as well as the culture. Some culture-specific aspects correspond to conditions such as complexity, tightness, individualism, and collectivism. And we understand that culture influences socialization patterns. This shapes some of the variances in our personality. Distinctive practices exist in different societies, and it's important to note each society has a unique culture and history. Does that change over time? It's certainly possible. If we look at the history of America, we can certainly see some of the changes in our culture based on what was transpiring in the history of America. Some cultures believe that the personality trait of narcissism creates more effective leaders due to their capacity to influence, articulate, and share a vision. And there's certainly many examples in the world history where we can see that narcissistic attitude did in fact become the leaders of the world's environments. Thank you for your time, for your presentation. For this presentation, I'll be glad to answer any questions. References to support this presentation are listed. Again, thank you.